Okay, so my name is Matia and I'm with AJ3 Report. And so we just want to thank you first for sitting down with us to allow us to talk with you so that our readers and viewers can get to know you a little bit better.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. So you are a Billboard chart-topping singer and songwriter. So clearly there's a story there. There's a pathway from you getting from dream to that accomplishment. So what is your story?
I've been staying in Memphis my whole life, born and raised here. I started at Made in Memphis, my label, independent label, about 3 years ago. That was basically the start of the process. I have honestly been doing music for about 12 years.
Wow.
And I'm trying to give you the short version.
I got
so
you.
I'm like, because I'd be like, I did this, and did it. But I've been doing music for about 12 years in my city. I think like in 2010, things kind of started really changing for me because I had actually did 106 in Park.
Okay.
And that was my first national performance. I did the Wild Out Wednesday, and it was just really, 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 really fun. I think we all grew up watching 106.
Oh yeah, AJ
like, I did 106 in Park.
Absolutely.
So it changed a lot for me. I was able to meet Timberland after that because it was, major people were watching 106.
Absolutely.
Everybody tuned into 106,
Yeah.
So he saw me on there. He thought I was good. I had the opportunity of working with him, and I then went on to I started doing other things, like I opened for Tank, and I just really was solidifying myself in the industry and really doing well with that. And as far as building, because even if you meet celebrities or people who are interested in you, you still have to put yourself in a position where you're working.
Absolutely.
It doesn't necessarily mean, hey, you like me, I can stop working now.
Yeah, I made it.
I can wait on you. You know what I'm saying? So I had to keep working.
Yeah.
And that was just a great relationship, a person I met in the industry that really helped me, show me some pointers, and then I moved on. And I was still in my city, actually. I wasn't really at the time able to travel as much because I have a son. So I wanted to, motherhood kind of comes first.
Absolutely. I do myself, so I get it.
Yeah, motherhood comes first. I was like, no, if you ain't trying to pay for me and my baby, I can't come.
That's right. Yeah.
So, a lot of the events and different opportunities that I got, I worked from here. I've always worked from my city. I traveled, but I was able to really, really, I'm happy that I was able to make the noise that I made because Made in Memphis kind of came along out of the blue. They were building a label in my city.
Yeah.
How ironic is that?
Right.
It's like I had been working a long time. They were building up a label in my city.
Right.
Independent label, Black company, startup business. I said, hey, I'm here.
Let's do
it. Someone called me, and it was just crazy how it happened. I'm at home one day. I get a random call. Don't typically answer phone calls I don't know.
Right.
It's someone saying, hey, I can change your life. And I'm like, how many times have I heard this before?
Right.
What do I got to lose?
Right.
What is this about?
Right.
What are we talking? So I ended up meeting David Porter when David Porter actually worked for Stax Records. He's a Hall of Fame singer, Hall of Fame songwriter.
Yeah.
And he did a lot of writing for Otis Redding and Sam and Dave and so many other artists that were part of Stax Records.
Yeah.
So, he heard my stuff. And it just kind of went from there. And I ended up signing. We ended up working together, and I was able to put out Lois Lane, which get me top 12 Billboard songs.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I was like, well,
right.
Like, that's a lot.
Interesting.
So that's the short version.
That's cool, though. So what I hear is, like you said, you having a son and you placing motherhood to be important. And a lot of people would, probably caution you to, you got to focus on that and kind of put other things to the side. So it sounds like you fought for what it was you wanted and you were able to get things on your terms.
Yeah, and I'm not gonna lie, it's not easy because I mean, you having kids is not the best, situation when you're trying to be an artist.
Right.
But I never want to go out and be a great artist and not a good mother. I mean, I'm some people they cool with that, know, but me, I just want to feel like I did this with my child's best interest at heart, with my best interest at heart, and I didn't lose anything from having him in my life and just him being a part of the process. I just feel like, I mean, my mom, I watched, my mother do everything with, her three, my brother, my sister, and me in mind. And I had to have I had to live by the same philosophy. And she challenged me to it. She's like, oh no, you can't go do that.
Right.
You gotta go do this. And I'm like, you can do it.
Right.
And she was like, no, I got my own life. You gotta, you're a mother, you gotta figure it out. And she helped me and assisted me, but she also made me tough and made me responsible. And, and she's never put anything before us,
That's it.
and that means, and that's something I look up to. I'm like, you know what? I watched my mama do it. I can do it.
That's right. That's right. That's a whole word. So I hope somebody's out there listening to that. That's a whole word right there. So, I heard you saying that, when you were 106 in Park, that, Timbaland saw you, you got a chance to, work with Tank. So how would you describe your current sound? You're from Memphis, Tennessee, which has a rich, rich musical history there.
Yes.
So how do you describe your sound?
I would say my sound is smooth, melodic. It has a vibe to it and a mood, which is why I named my album Mood Ring. But it has a mood to it, and it's also a rawness, but still fresh. And it has the soul in it, but it's not like Stack's soul. But I think when people when I think of like the word soul, I'm thinking of what you feel from what I'm singing. So that's kind of how I describe soul, because it's a feeling, and I feel like I definitely have conviction when I sing. I come from a real place. So it's not like I'm in the studio, ba, 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 and I'm like, I'm just singing this song and I can't relate to it, because everything I do, like, I'm writing on it. I'm a part of the process. Awesome. It's coming from an authentic place. So that's how I would describe my sound.
Okay. I like that. Is there anyone you've been compared to?
Yes. Like anybody light skinned, pretty much. On Monica, Carrie Hilson, I've been compared to LaToya Luckett. I've been compared to, I don't really know what they're I get it from a look perspective. Maybe Monica and Carrie mixed together. I don't know, but from a musical standpoint, I've been compared to Mary J. Blige. I get that the most.
Really?
And it's interesting, but I think I get it from a sense of not the sound of the music, but
the heart.
The like, oh, you have a ladylikeness about you, but you also got a grimy feel about you.
Right.
You speak in real relationship perspective. Right. Ooh, okay.
Yeah.
Mary is definitely known for being real in the song.
Yes, absolutely. Gives it her all. Yeah.
Right. So, and it comes from a real place. So I'm like, okay, if people connect with that, then
that's an awesome comparison. Yeah, absolutely. Take that any day. So, tell us, you talked about the album Mood Ring, coming up. You had Lois Lane, the single. What's your newest single, and what's kind of coming up musically?
My newest single is called Grimy. That dropped July 17th. The video drops will drop tomorrow.
Okay.
So I'm looking forward to that. I'm looking forward to people getting the opportunity to just get some little acting, some
Yeah.
drama and suspense going. But yeah, my newest record is grimy. It's actually the first song that I've had where I'm really, really speaking from a place where I feel like it's the most raw coming from me, because I've never been that blunt in a song, and I feel like I needed to say something and just talk. Let me talk my
That's
let me
it.
talk
That's
my,
it.
and because somebody out there feels
Somebody's
it.
gonna feel it.
Right.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So I wanted to have that song, and I ended up making it my third single, and my fourth single, and I'm happy with it, and I'm happy about how people are relating to it so early, being that it just came out. So the feedback is really, really great on that song.
Good. So I also saw on your IG that you have kind of like a little social media thing going with Grimy. So can you tell us a little bit more about that?
Yeah, well, with Grimy, I actually missed yesterday because I had some meetings and stuff, but I wasn't able to do it. But I am starting something where I do like a Let's Talk Grimy, and I have someone come on with me. I tell my story, and then I have someone come on with me and talk about their juicy stories. And it's not all just related to a male or a female. Right. I just want to hear it. It's been a grimy year. Right. We all been through grimy stuff this year. So I think that, like, me bringing people on to kind of really talk about that and to talk about their experiences and how they were able to grow from that, I just think that's really, really dope, and it's really, really cool. So I enjoy doing it, and I was like, okay, let's talk grime.
Right. So when
because,
you were talking about the music video dropping, you were saying you were kind of excited about it because people getting to see you kind of get dramatic. So do you have any like acting ambitions?
I definitely do, and I've shown that in 3 videos. I think like I was a little like, I don't know, in Lois Lane, and I stepped out a little bit more in the act out video.
Okay.
Where I showed like me kidnapping my boyfriend and holding him at gunpoint, and
that was the thin line between love and hate one, right?
You said which one?
Like the play on thin line between love and hate.
Yes.
I like that.
I kind of took it to a more gangster level.
Yeah.
Because she was gangster.
She was
kind of crazy.
Yes,
but I definitely was the spirit animal for the vibe. With Act Out, and with Grimy, if people saw the ending of Act Out, they'll know where I'm going with it. They'll be like, oh my gosh, she probably gonna tell how he died. Who died? Gunshots at the end, and people really want to connect with something. And I know, like, when I watch music videos in particular, or I'm watching just in general shows on TV, I'm always wondering, like, what's going on? Who died?
Right.
I know that builds interest. People don't just want to see a cute video, and you can make cute videos, but I feel like it's still important because people get a better take on the substance in the lyrics, and they can understand and connect and say, oh, it's what she meant. Yeah. Oh, he was praying with her, and she had to act crazy.
I like that. I like that. I think that's an element. I think that's an element missing from a lot of music videos, like in the 90s, 2000s. I mean, probably even before then, you saw that like across a body of work. You saw videos that all kind of like flowed together. Like I think about like R. Kelly and Mr. Big, but there was always like this whole storyline.
Yeah.
You couldn't wait for the next one. Yeah, you couldn't wait for the next one. So that's cool. So if you weren't in music, what do you think you'd probably be doing right now?
If I wasn't in music, or like in the entertainment business?
In the entertainment industry, period.
Okay. If I wasn't in the music industry in general, I would be a psychologist.
Really now? Okay, so now I'm understanding better how you take from things and put them into songs. Now I'm better understanding the songwriter side of you, if that's something you think you would have been doing.
Yeah, I mean, I've always been somebody who has been receptive to what people were going through. Like, I don't know, like there's those people that don't even ask for you to tell them stuff, but people just come to you and they just like, girl, let me tell you what happened to me. And you be like, okay. You feel like I'm that person to talk to, so I listen. So, that happens to me a lot. So it's like, when I was younger, I would say, you know what? I feel like I'm really good at helping people hash out their problems. Like, I don't tell people how to do it, but you can help people get through their own thought process and answer their own questions. And if you can help people answer their own questions, you can help them understand what they should do. Because sometimes people don't need you to tell them what to do. They just need you to listen to what they're saying so they can talk through figuring out what to do. So,
absolutely.
And I was younger. I was really patient with that type of stuff because I actually care. So it's not like I'm just listening. I'm like, I don't care about what you're saying. Right. I don't care about what you're like. I'm like, what's wrong?
Right.
So I always felt like that would be a great job for me, a great career. I wanted to have my own practice. So that's what I would be doing.
Okay. So like you were saying, when people come and talk to you, is that sometimes a creative source for you for your songwriting, or is it just more so your own personal experiences?
It definitely is. It lets me know like how many people think they're so far apart from each other, but we're all going through the same things.
Yep.
And it's like you can hear, even from a male perspective, I hear the same stories every single time. And I was just like, everybody thinks, well, man, no, it's different from that, or it's different from that. But it's really all the same thing. And so, yeah, I get a lot of inspiration from my friends, from people who share their thoughts with me. And I was like, dang, that sounds like a song.
Yeah.
Like, okay, can I use that? It's like, what? That ain't no song. Of course, because people don't know everything they say is a song. Like, you can say little subtle things like, he did me, like if I said, man, he gonna make me act out, and you be like, oh, okay, act out. That sounds like a title.
Right.
And I literally do that all day. Oh, that sounds like a title. So, it definitely helps for sure.
It's interesting you say that. I was watching the DMX and Snoop Dogg verses, and DMX talked about a song he had called "Get at Me, Dog," and he said Snoop actually was his inspiration because they ran into each other in a club, and he was like, "Get at me, dog," and he was like, "Get at me, dog," and he was gonna write a whole song off of it. So
it's really so crazy. And because you always have to be receptive to everything you say, listening to yourself, because you don't know how many times you might give yourself a dope idea and don't even realize what you're saying.
Right.
And so I'm always like, I'm just like, it was one time I was like, I'm just ready to close the door on this whole thing. And I said, close the door. It's like, close the door. How about close the door on love? Close the door on my relationship? Close the door. And then I started kind of going through the thought, like, okay, let me just start writing it down.
Right.
People who create, we literally they either keep a pen in their pocket or they keep their notes on, and you just see them every few seconds. You're like, hold on, give me a second. Right. Like, are you listening to me? Yeah, I'm listening. So, we always write.
Right. So, yeah, the world is your canvas. Yeah. So I also know that you are a brand ambassador. Would you mind telling us a little bit more about that?
Yes, I'm a brand ambassador for Lisa Raye's denim line. It's amazing how it came about. I was just in New York, and I was working on a press run for a record that I had out at the time, or I think it was my Christmas album, but I just heard about it through my PR. He's like, oh yeah, we have you're an ambassador for Lisa Raye's denim line. And I was like, I said, we're working on it.
Right.
He's like, no, it's done.
Nice.
So shout out to my PR.
Absolutely.
For making that happen. And with Corona, we've had some things kind of stop us from connecting. I actually am this is a fresh new opportunity for me. So I had the opportunity of connecting with her the way I'm excited to do. So
Right.
I can't wait till this is over so I can be like,
right, seriously. So, I mean, how has, quarantine been for you? Have you been able to still kind of be, creative and kind of produce things? How has that been?
I have been. It's been great for me because I produce so well with a clear mind. Like when I'm moving around a lot and I'm traveling and I'm tired and I'm like, I gotta get in a studio and then I gotta go be a mom and then I gotta go. I have to have those few moments to unwind, to start putting my mind together to really write, because you get fatigued mentally. Talking to people, you do interviews, you're doing all this stuff, and you're like, when it comes time to actually create, you just like,
just drained. Yeah.
So during this time, it gave me a time to decompress and just really focus on like where I want to go with the rest of this project.
Very nice.
Really answer some questions, had an opportunity to clean some things up and organize, which also helps for your mental.
Absolutely.
And I'm just like, you know what? I never thought about this.
Yeah.
And it's like, now I'm just writing and I feel refreshed. So
awesome.
And I've still been creating and still, doing shows and doing interviews. So I'm actually, I can't wait to start back traveling, connecting, and doing shows. I cannot wait for that. But I have enjoyed the interviews because I put on my cute top.
Right.
I ain't gotta go out the house. Right. I have my pajama pants on. I don't have to do anything fully dressed. I don't have to. I'm just good. So I'm like, man, the interviews?
Right. Definitely a plus side. Yeah. So earlier we kind of talked about people you've been compared to, but who are some of your musical influences?
My musical influences are one of my dear friends who I love so much. Stevie Wonder is inspiration for me. I'm happy to be his friend. I'm happy to have him to look up to and even get advice from when it comes to things in my life. It's incredible to have him around. And I love Whitney Houston and Shaka Khan, and because I grew up off of a lot of old school stuff. Just in general, I don't really, because of course the 90s, I grew up in the 90s era, and I've just always connected because I could feel, and those are the things that made me want to be an artist. If I can't feel anything from the music, I can't really listen to it. It's like, okay, I don't know what this is, but I can't feel anything.
Right.
And I love those artists, Anita Baker, and it's just so many dope old school artists, I think, that really inspired me to just want to do what I do. So those, and I guess in 2020, my inspiration is Rihanna, which she probably gonna get tired of hearing me say, because I say her name in interviews all the time. She'll be like, let me give you a shout out, reach out.
Right.
But I just respect her as a Black woman in the business, because she's very, very like her. It's so many different dimensions of her, and she put me in the mind state to where I can create different things. I can be a mood ring. I can be, I don't have to be one dimensional with anything that I'm doing in my life. And I think that those type of artists set things up for artists like me and artists like other young girls to come in the game, and it'll be easier for them to do what they love without being boxed in.
Absolutely.
So she's somebody I look up to for sure.
Cool. So since you look up to her, I'm guessing maybe she's someone you wouldn't mind working with at some point in your career.
Hell no.
We just throw it out there,
Yes. Put that in the universe.
Yes, indeed. Who else would you like to work with?
I would love to do some work with her, Travis Scott, and I love Kendrick Lamar. I think that those three artists are phenomenal. Travis is
Yeah.
amazing. Like when it comes to his production and the way he puts his projects together. And
I agree.
being an artist, it's one thing to be a rapper. It's another thing to be an artist. That's
Right.
two different things. Like
Yeah.
creating a vibe, creating a sound, creating a story, creating a project that connects with people, a whole brand. That's
Yeah.
an artist.
Yeah.
So I would love to work with them.
Okay, cool. So before we get out of here, I have another question for you. So, or one last question rather. So being from Memphis, we talked about there being strong musical influences. When it comes to the Memphis, that wall of Memphis music, what do you want people to take away or say about your music when it's all said and done?
I want them to say that I was relatable. They could feel something from the music, and that, I helped them through something. I think that's the main point of me being an artist, is being a voice and saying the things for people that they can't say for themselves or they can't communicate.
Yeah.
You know how you have those moments where people be like, I got a song I want you to hear. They don't tell you how they feel about you, but they're going to play their song and it's going to tell
Right.
you.
Yeah.
And I want people to know that about me, that I connect with them, and she was real. She raw. She just say how it is, and
Right.
she has substance in her music. That's what I want people to say.
Very nice. And so one last thing, how can fans keep in contact with you, follow you, and see everything that you have coming down the pipeline?
Fans can follow me on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook at Porcelan Music. That's Porcelan, no I.
Okay.
And then also they can check out my latest interviews, information on me, what I have coming out next, new releases on my website, porcelanmusic.com.
All right. Well, again, I want to thank you for sitting down with AJ3 Report. We appreciate it, and we wish you all the best.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for
Bye-bye.
having me.
No problem.